Are the glasses too much? Nope, they're staying on. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I am going all out with the fall content. I didn't get to do this last year. I feel like I didn't even do it the years prior. And so I'm like, why not this year? We can all use a little fall in our lives. So I've been trying to research more of like dark autumn bucket lists, and I haven't been able to find one. They're all like really cutesy, like cutesy type bucket list things, which of course I have some cutesy things that I want to do this fall as well. But I like the darker stuff, the darker vibe, spooky, creepy, bone-chilling type stuff. And so I decided to make my very own dark autumn bucket list, and that is what I will be sharing with you today. I'm also going to be talking about TV shows or TV series and movies that I like to watch during the fall, because as I'm filming this, it's the last week of August, so September is next week, so don't even come at me and tell me that it's too early. It's never too early. I've been decorating since the summer because I just don't do well in the summertime, and I love the fall season, so I've been slowly bringing out the decorations, starting to watch some transition type movies, like segue movies, which I'll talk about that, like good ones to start the segue into fall, if you know what I mean. But I'm gonna make this a two-part series, so today we're gonna talk about TV series and shows and movies, fall related ones, like bucket list things that I want to watch, and then I'm also going to share my dark autumn bucket list, which I pinned it on Pinterest. I made like my whole little thing in Canva, my whole list in Canva, decorated it with my aesthetic and pinned it to Pinterest. So I'll show it in this video. I'll also link it in the description box down below in case you want to pin it to one of your boards or print it or save it to your phone or whatnot. Whatever you want to do is totally fine. And if this isn't your jam, like that's fine too. You know, it's my jam, it makes me happy, and so that's what we're doing today. Oh yeah, and so I'm gonna be doing a part 1, which is today, and then part 2 will be probably next week, hopefully, because I have a whole bookish haul that I want to do, and they're like spooky fall related books, because again, so many people I feel like recommend the same types of books, and I like cozy fall reads, don't get me wrong, but again, I'm just like, I'm a darker individual. I like the darker vibe and the darker aesthetic, and so I found some like spooky, bone-chilling books. I have some that I've read that I'm going to recommend, but then I have a TBR as well, and so I'm waiting for those books to arrive. Otherwise, I would have done this in a whole video. And if you are a spooky ghoul like me, let me know in the comments down below if you just love all things fall, all things Halloween. And I'm creating a new playlist on YouTube that's called All the Fall Things. That is a pun on the Blink-182 song, All the Small Things. So all the fall things. All right, so let's get started. I'm so excited. Also, people are still mowing their lawns and blowing the leaves here in Texas. So if you hear that in the background, I apologize, but I'm in the zone. I want to film this video, and so I'll put some nice like background music, so hopefully you can't hear the chaos that is happening outside. Let's start with TV series. Okay, so my number 1 TV series that I love to watch during the fall, I'm pretty sure it just came out last year because I binge watched it all last year. Actually, I can't remember when it came out. It's The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. But whenever it came out, I binge watched it some more, like just even during the months when it wasn't fall. I just loved it so much. It's so, like, if you watched the, what was it, the Teenage Witch, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, when you were growing up, like, what was her name? Melissa Joan Hart? Did I get that right? I think that's right. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself on the screen. But if you watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch, then The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina just takes this to like a whole other level, and the whole vibe of it is so dark. It's creepy, it's spooky. There's actually like some gore in there. I feel like it gets less gory as the season goes on. I remember when I was watching some of the first episodes, I was like, ugh, like, whoa, right? The only thing that's a little bit, but I understand because it gives it the dark aesthetic, is portraying witches as worshiping the devil and Satan, which isn't true. So at least not in my case, because we don't believe in the devil. That is a Christian thing, right? So Anyways, but the whole, again, it's a story, right? It's a show, and it's for that kind of appeal, that darker aesthetic, so that makes sense to me. And so, you know, I don't know, I love it. I think it's a great show. It's got a good storyline, and it's unique. It's very unique. It's one of the more unique shows that I have watched. Next up is one that I just started watching, and I don't know why it's taken me so long to watch it, but that is Penny Dreadful. This is also on Netflix. If I'm not mistaken, I believe there are 3 seasons. I've made it through the first season and really enjoyed it. This one is also kind of along the same lines as The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, where it's darker and there is gore, but it's more of like the monsters and like Frankenstein and just this whole macabre, like, I guess that's the best way to describe it. It's just, I love it. I love the setting. I love everything about it. And it's kind of got this like suspense thriller type aspect. There are these murders going on, right? And they're these really grisly murders, and so they're trying to figure that out. But there's this whole history with Penny Dreadful and like the family, or the, I don't want to give too much away, but it's really good. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm only 1 season in, but I highly recommend it. The next series is Salem, which I believe is on Hulu, and I can't remember how far I got into it. There were a couple of episodes that just like, energetically speaking, they were like, whoa, like it was really intense for me. So I had to kind of take a break from it, actually. I don't know what it was about some of the episodes, but because that one just gets really dark, like really dark, really fast. And so I just don't think I was fully prepared for what it was going to be. But the storyline is really good. It is really intense, I will put it that way. But it's basically about the time of the witches and the witch trials, and how the witches were essentially like actually running the town. So it's, I don't know, it's interesting. It gets pretty dark. Whew. It's just intense, we'll put it that way. The next one I have on my list is not so much a Halloween type show, but it's called The Nevers. My mom was actually the one who introduced me to this show, so thanks, Mom. But it's called The Nevers. It's on HBO, and it's about all of these women inventors, and they're not all women inventors, but they're all women who were kind of like touched by this thing, we'll just put it that way. And so they're magical, but it's during a time where they're kind of like separated from society, or they're seen as different from the rest of society. So it was just like, the whole storyline was really good. The ending of that first season, because I believe it's only 1 season right now, was so unexpected. I remember I was watching the last episode and I thought that I was watching a completely different show. It's like, what is going on? But that being said, it was just really good. So, and I know I'm not explaining these that well because I've watched them all kind of like at random points. So I'm just trying to kind of give brief synopses of how I truly felt about it, and not just read like the little description that they have. So if you're interested in any of these, like, go read the description on Amazon or Netflix or Hulu or HBO or wherever it's at, if you want to get more of a feel for what the shows are actually about. But if you like the magical things, but you're not really into like the super dark shows, I guess you could say, then I think The Nevers is that's also a great segue series into the fall. Next is The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor. Both of these are on Netflix. How could I make this video without mentioning those two? These are just spooky and creepy and will keep you up at night, and it's the haunting of each of these places. I love both of them. I would say I love The Haunting of Hill House because it just, oh, it's just so good. But The Haunting of Bly Manor is also good in its own way, but I really love The Haunting of Hill House. And I'm not going to say too much about it because I think you just need to watch it, but you get the different perspectives of the family members throughout it, which is how I wrote Shadow Crown. So that was like having each episode kind of be from a different person's perspective, and then having it all tie in. I was like, this is everything, because that's how I write my stories. So I thought the writing for The Haunting of Hill House was phenomenal, and for Bly Manor too. They're both really good. Next up on the list is The Witcher. Need I say more? Need I say more? You've got monsters, you've got a super just heartthrob of a man, my goodness. And it's good. You've got like the witches in there, you've got the magic, you've got the monsters, you've got the slaying of the beasts, you have The Witcher. This is a great one too for just like segue into fall and autumn season. Next up we have American Horror Story, and specifically season 3, which is called Coven. That one is just super witchy and awesome. It's a little dark, as all American Horror Story seasons are, but I really enjoyed season 3. I think there was another, I can't remember the name of the season off the top of my head, but there's another one that's really good. But Coven's the perfect fall vibes, witchy vibes show. Okay, so the glasses are coming off now, and I've got like my whole little list here, so that's, if you see me looking down, that's why. But let's talk about movies real quick, and I'm not gonna get into each one of these, just know that they're darker theme. The first one is Crimson Peak. Tom Hiddleston's in it, and it's so good. The second movie I'd recommend is Dark Shadows. I personally love the one with Johnny Depp. I haven't seen the original version, but I love the one with Johnny Depp, so whatever floats your boat. But you've got vampires and a creepy old haunted house, and it's just perfect. Next up is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. So this is the same actress as Penny Dreadful. She plays that like mysterious character so well. Although Miss Peregrine's isn't so much a like Halloween type movie, I think this one is a great segue into fall, like from summer into fall. Basically got a bunch of misfit children, and they're all staying at this home, right? And there's like this whole adventure, so we'll just leave it at that. Next up is another great segue movie into fall, which is Beautiful Creatures, which I believe was based on a book, but you have this girl who discovers that she has magical powers. There's like it's very like reminiscent of YA novels. It probably is a YA novel. Like, I haven't read it, but I watched the movie, and although the beginning was like a little bit cheesy and kind of made me laugh, there's just like a certain vibe to this movie that I really enjoy, because it starts off like in the summer, like the muggy hot months, or at least that's how my brain interpreted it, and then you get into the fall months, and you got like the creepy family, creepy old house, and there's a little bit of a budding romance happening on the side with this, I don't know, like farm boy, I guess you could say. So again, that is another great transitionary, is that a word? I don't know, transition movie into fall. Another great transition movie that I was just watching the other night is Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. It's so good. Jim Carrey is phenomenal. Meryl Streep is, the whole movie is just phenomenal if you haven't seen it. That one too, I think, is a bit more kid friendly as well, because it follows the Baudelaire children around, and Jim Carrey, he's just like, I just love him so much. He is fantastic in everything. He brings all of his characters to life, and Count Olaf is no different. Next up is Victor Frankenstein. I feel like I don't have to say too much about this movie because it is a monster movie, Frankenstein movie, but it's the whole vibe of it, kind of like the apothecary, alchemist, the whole like lab where he's doing all of this. I don't know, it puts me in such a Halloween and fall type mindset, and I like the storyline of this movie as well. And of course, I have to mention The Craft. I really love the original movie. I watched the newer one recently, and it was fine, you know what I mean? But there's something about like just the 90s grunge and that era of movie, especially Halloween type movies, that it's just so good. So I recommend The Craft, but I recommend the original version. I also have Sleepy Hollow and Hocus Pocus on my list. Those are just two of kind of like my staples. They're like my staple movies, as well as some animated movies. So I love The Nightmare Before Christmas, the new Addams Family animated movie that just came out. I don't know if it was a couple years ago. I know it's more recent than some of these other ones. And then all of the Hotel Transylvania movies. Those are my favorite. Those are like my top 3 animated movies. All right, so those are my recommendations for fall TV shows as well as movies. Like I said, I'll make a part 2 with my fall book haul that should be arriving shortly, but I also want to go through my dark autumn bucket list again, because all of the ones I found on Pinterest were just super cutesy, and this is not cutesy. This is a bit darker. So I'll go ahead and put it up on the screen as I read through these. And you can also go to Pinterest. You can click on the link in the description box below if you want to download this and save it to your phone or print it out or whatever you'd like to do. But let's go ahead and get into the bucket list. First thing on the list is to go thrifting or antiquing for vintage books. Have a spooky book readathon. Make a new pumpkin-based recipe. Take a scenic drive to see the changing leaves with a dark fall playlist, which by the way, I've already started making a dark fall playlist on Spotify. You can find that linked in the description box below. Grab some merch at a spooky expo. I recently discovered, at least in my town, in Houston and in Austin, that they have these spooky expos. So I wrote them down. One of them is called Thorn and Moon Expo. And I don't know when this took place, but I know it was in Houston at, I hope I'm gonna say this right, Avant Garden. So I don't know if it's something that's still going on, but if you are in the Houston area, again, that's called Thorn and Moon Expo. And also in Austin, there's the Oddities and Curiosities Expo. So they do have a website, it's odditiesandcuriositiesexpo.com. And again, that one I think is more kind of like all over the United States. And I believe Austin was one of their locations. So it's a bunch of merchants and they have all of this spooky stuff that you can buy and decorate your house with. And I was like, how fun would that be to go to one of these expos and pick up some really unique decorations. Next on the bucket list is to visit a haunted house, host a scary movie marathon, go on a graveyard picnic, visit a pumpkin patch, go to a drive-in movie theater, see an orchestra, symphony, or play, do some DIY dark autumn crafts like a wreath, visit a farm, corn maze, go on a hayride, host a backyard bonfire, make caramel apples and kettle corn, try some new dark lipstick shades, tour a haunted town, buy fall candles, try a new crockpot recipe, soups, stews, and broths, visit an art museum, have a Harry Potter marathon, go Halloween decor hunting, have a full day at the library, write dark poetry, make apple cider, see a psychic, which by the way, if you are wanting to book a reading, hi, I'm a psychic and I offer tarot readings and intuitive energy readings. Right now my wait list is, I think it's at 4 to 6 weeks at the time of filming this, 4 to 6 weeks out. So if you book now, that means you will get your reading just in time for spooky season for Halloween in October. If you're interested in that, learning about that, seeing if it's the real deal or whatnot, I'll leave the link in the description box below, but there are a ton of testimonials on the website, so go check those out for yourself. Next on the list is have a Tim Burton marathon, visit a metaphysical shop, do a full moon bath ritual, have a main character autumn inspired day, and of course, decorate your home. So my friends, that is going to conclude, I had to put the glasses back on. That is going to conclude part 1 of this dark autumn bucket list. I will have part 2 coming your way shortly with books. Since I'm giving a little synopsis, a little overview of the books, that video is probably going to be a little bit longer, which is why it's separated. That was probably a good idea. So I have some B-roll for you, some Halloween decor hunting B-roll, as well as me going to Barnes & Noble and doing some bookish things for an editing project, getting my schedule all organized. So I'll go ahead and leave you with that. But thank you for watching. If you have any TV shows or movies that you're really excited about, or ones that are staples for you that make your list every year, I would love to know what they are. Leave a comment down below because I love to add things to my list. And I'm probably going to be making more graphics like these, this like bucket list type graphic, and pinning it to Pinterest. So like I said, I love to be able to add things to it. So yeah, leave some comments down below if you are a spooky ghoul like me and you love Halloween and you just love all of it, all the things. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you all so much. And again, I will leave you with this B-roll.